Horizon Power has always been an operator of microgrids. We've always been a unique operator of microgrids. That's been our bread and butter. We're the only utility in Australia that has microgrids as our core focus. We see innovation as being pretty central to our ability to deliver the service domestically into the markets that we serve. We are already one of the largest in the world operators of microgrids.
Technology hasn't changed for the last 100 years, but it's changing very dramatically over the next 10, which causes us to think about a lot of things differently. So the deterministic processes that I talked about really need to start to accommodate uncertainty. They need to build in flexibility and optionality. We need to almost experiment and in some cases fail in order to be able to determine what the right path is, what the right technology is, and what the regulatory changes are that might come on the back of that.
We actually think that what we have here as problems at rest with Horizon Power exist globally. To the degree that we solve them for Horizon Power, I think there'll be other markets in the world that will have a strong appetite for seeing the same solutions applied there.
As we're faced with effectively a tsunami of disruptive technology that's coming towards the industry, we've sought to actually take our business and keep people out of the business and put them in contact with entrepreneurs using the services of Pollenizer to actually see where we might get to if we can accelerate the whole learning experience over a couple of days.
Consumers are leading us to offer them a different service. And really the way we see that service is greater choice to make investments in distributed energy resources. We see distributed energy resources displacing a reasonable part of what the utility historically did. We're open to that because our consumers want us to be open to that and because it makes good economic sense.
Being connected to a utility to do something like distributed energy resources is really interesting and really important because the utility is taking some vision for the future which is different to most utilities. And if you are trying to innovate in this space, it's incredibly difficult to do that without a utility partner. So with someone like Horizon Power giving the benefit and the support, it gives an unfair advantage to experiment and try brave new ideas. And that's vital. If we're going to change an energy future to zero carbon, we need to be brave and we need to try and put those ideas into place. And with a utility partner that's really bought into it, you've got a great opportunity and that's your unfair advantage. We need to tip the scales.
Horizon Power basically operates microgrids of varying sizes. We have one fully interconnected grid on the East Coast and the West Coast has these microgrids. If you want to test something, you want to do it where you can have a small impact and see how it affects others. If you do that in a large grid, you can't iterate as quickly as if you do it in a small grid. So Horizon Power having the most number of small grids and operating those and being willing to work with us in something like this is the unfair advantage for us.
Entrepreneurship is a really important way of developing business models and potentially businesses, and it can really fast track your thinking and the process. Because quite often, historically, we spend a lot of time working through initiatives, significant market research, analysing, documenting, meeting. And whilst that's important, there's smarter ways, I think, of doing it, and this is one of those for sure.
I think what we've achieved in the last 48 hours would have taken us a long time to achieve had we have applied our normal process to. I think Pollenizer have been a great partner to help us get through that.
I thought Pollenizer did a great job of taking us all along a consistent journey, so we're all at the same speed and able to focus more on the customer and the pain points currently experienced by the customer. And I think it's valuable insights for Horizon as well to sort of hear it from people involved in the industry that not necessarily for their own organisation. So I think it was a great two-way street of lessons learned, insights from Horizon Power and insights from industry participants.
I think the process we went through in these last 2 days, the microhack, really helped people consolidate around good ideas and really make something that's tangible.
I really enjoyed being pushed, and I actually was really pleased with what we accomplished in the 2 days here.
Over the last 2 days, I guess we've learned that you can't just make a startup with a whole bunch of ideas thrown in together. Like, that's not really how it works. I mean, you have great ideas, but you have to put it in some sort of structure. And the structure helps you test those ideas. And I think for me, it's, I like tons of ideas. And so for me, it's really good to be disciplined and try and take some of those ideas and make them actually into something that's tangible, testable, and then implementable at the end.
The Pollenizer approach really uses a scientific approach to get some clarity and communicate it clearly, which I think is key to getting anywhere.
We've really been very fortunate to select such a high calibre of entrepreneurs, and those entrepreneurs have been willing to embark on here in one location to spend 2 days with us to develop these things. Really optimistic about where we go with these ideas and these entrepreneurs.
I think the next step is maintaining those conversations and continuing to dig deep into what the pain points are, not just for Verizon but the customers. I think there will be a lot to really uncover as you start working more in depth with the Verizon staff, as well as their current customer base and their issues that they're facing with governments and regulators and things like that. So it'll be a very rocky road, I think, ahead, but definitely something that needs to happen to ensure that there's a good future for energy.
I've got a couple of guys really interested in doing peer-to-peer energy trading, and I think it has huge potential to revolutionise our energy system. If Horizon Power runs with it themselves, more competition.
So the technology that we develop through the work that we might start here has certainly got, I think, applications across the country. There's some 40 systems that we currently have in our portfolio. Even if we look broadly in Western Australia, that could go up to 100 if we bring in remote Aboriginal communities. And they're certainly part of what we would focus on. Beyond that, there could be up to 500 of these microgrids within Australia. And then if you take it to a much, hundreds of millions of people in our immediate area in the Asia Pacific, whether it be Indonesia, whether it be Africa, whether it be India.
We have an exponential imperative here. It's to take a concept which is really rooted in a small company and make it global. To me, that's the exponential growth prospect.